Welcome to Currency 365 and welcome to another week of Iraq Dinar RV breaking news. This is episode 14. It's July 24th, 2015. Already July is almost over. We're headed into August, and then we're headed to one of the most anticipated months in my lifetime and anybody else's lifetime that's been living since the 80s, 90s, or 2000s. Okay, so September, a lot of things are predicted. A lot of prophecies are supposed to happen in September. So we'll walk through it together. We'll see what happens. The reset and all these other things that are supposed to happen by September. We know the yuan is going to be a world reserve currency. It's going to join the dollar, the Aussie dollar, the Swiss francs, and sterling pound, and the British pound, whatever, and whoever else is in the world reserve currencies. Okay, it's going to join it, and that's supposed to happen in October. And we also know the new banking system launches in October as well. So we know that several countries are going to make corrections before that happens. Okay, and one of it is the Iraqi dinar. That's the reason why we talk about it. And I have two guaranteed investments for myself, and this is my opinion: the Iraqi dinar and silver. Okay, so silver and the Iraqi dinar; those are my two guarantees. I love gold as well. I think gold's going to go to 4,000 plus. But my two guarantees are Iraqi dinar and silver. I like the other currencies: the South Korean won, the Indonesia rupiah, the India rupee. I like the Vietnamese dong, and I like Iran rial. So, and there's several others, but let's just get into the world breaking news. I think that's enough talk. We have some good things going on, and we have some other things going on. So, but let me just skim through this. I think it's gonna be I'm just going to freestyle this because I really don't have things set up like I used to have. Because the internet has been going in and out all day long, and I've rarely had a chance to even get things done. But I'm running out of time here, and I have to do this breaking news report. So we got to keep the trend going here until we see the dinar revalue. Once the dinar revalues, then I'm gonna probably do something else. It won't be called dinar. It'll be probably just be called world news, and I'll try to set something else up in the future. So, anyways, a lot of you guys won't even care because dinar will already happen and you guys can go on with your lives, and that's going to be exciting. So I'm going to be happy for you guys. Let's start with Iran, of course. I'm just going to be reading headlines from Iran, China, and some other things here. So let's see. Italian foreign minister to head Iran next week. Okay. So the Italian minister will be headed to Iran. I guess they're going to be doing some talks and maybe some try to get some contract agreements. Iran nuclear deal has dueling sanctions snapbacks. Yeah, well, that's coming from Washington, of course, and Congress doesn't like the deal, and we already talked about why that is. All right, energy sanction on Iran can be lifted by November. Deputy oil minister. Okay, so the energy sanctions can be lifted by November. Okay, for Iran. So look for oil prices. If that does happen, look for Iran to get back on the oil game and look for oil prices to absolutely tank around November, December. So that would be a great opportunity to buy some oil stocks. Now, we don't know, that's for sure. We don't know if that's for sure or not. But if Iran can sell oil in the global market, it's going to be way too much oil in the market. So that'll be a great time to invest in some oil and as it drops and drops and drops and make some money. We did that with Zion Oil and Gas. My team did that. We did which is stock ZN. We bought it at the lowest at 140, about 140 per share, and then we sold it. A lot of us sold it at $2 to 215 range. So we expect to do the same thing again. Okay. So let's see China. What's going on with China? Metal sink on China. Europe growth concerns as U.S. dollar firms. Okay. Let's see. Australian dollar falls below U.S. 73 cents on China data shock. Okay, so Australian dollar is falling here on against the U.S. dollar. Okay, it says China's stock market paying is India's financial gain. Yep, I like India. I like the India rupee. I said it was one of the currencies that we were overlooking. I like it to reset. It's at like like a cent seven, like 0.017 range to the dollar. So I really think it can come up to maybe 5 to 10 cents, maybe even higher than that. So I believe it's going to also reset. So you guys should be looking at check a look at India rupee. I'm not saying to buy anything because that's not what I do. I'm just saying check a look at it and start doing your research on it and see if you like it. All right, so let's see. What else has it got here? China forges ahead with bid to make yuan a reserve currency. All right, we know that's the plan to is going to join the world reserve currencies. That's the plan for China. That's the reason why they have the new BRICS and the alliance, and also the BRICS Bank that launched, and also the AIIB bank system that launched as well. Okay, so we know that's the China's going to be the financial empire of the world in the new world order. So we already know that. Okay. China reports 57% increase in gold supply. All right, so I talked about that this week already. So that's amazing how much gold they have. Okay, let's see. The AIIB formation to lessen conditionalities of IMF, World Bank. Okay, let's see. And then let's see. China's gold dump, the greatest financial bubble in human history, may soon burst. Wow, these are just headlines from different places. Germany saved its big banks at Greece expense. Okay. And the Eurozone July business activity holds up despite Greece crisis. Currencies. Dollar falls as oil sell-off ripples through the markets. Okay. Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff is one of the guys I post on my channel. I love Peter Schiff, and he's been right a lot. And a lot of times he gets a slack because the things don't happen in the time frame the people that are talking negative about him say it should happen in. And Peter's just sitting there waiting, and being patient, and then boom, the things he say happen. So you guys can relate to that because we've been saying things about Dinar, and people that don't believe in it, they're saying, ha 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 ha, it hasn't happened yet, it hasn't happened yet. See, you just keep talking, but when we're just sitting patiently, we know it's coming, we see how it's doing, the process of it, and we know it's coming, and we know the reset's coming, so we're just sitting patiently, and that's what Peter Schiff does. So Peter Schiff says the currencies depend on faith, basically the faith of the people, while gold doesn't. And that's a really true statement. Let me repeat that. Currency depends on faith, meaning the faith of the people, but gold doesn't. And there's your answer. I like silver better than gold, but still, that is a really good statement right there. Okay. So let's move on to Iraq news. All right, so we're 8 minutes in. Let's move on to Iraq news. Sorry for talking about the world news so much, but this is part of the reset. So we need to talk about the world news. You know what I mean? So and because it's all part of this reset that's happening. Okay, so let's start with Iraq news now. Okay, Maliki's office statements about Saudi Arabia were not the first. All right, so we know that Maliki had been making some ridiculous statements about Saudi and other places and just Sunni nations, okay? Trying to stir up tension and trying to get the Shiites on his side, trying to get Iran to save him from international courts, okay? So he's stirring things up to try to keep Iraq in the same situation and not unify. And it's not working because the body and the government are coming out blatantly and saying we do not support anything that's coming out of Maliki's mouth for sectarian and all these things that he's talking about. We have nothing to say about it. It's not us. It's Maliki. He's in big trouble and he's going down. So he's in desperate mode right now. Okay, so parliamentary service investment law currently restricts adopted investors. Okay, so they're saying that the investment law is an important law and it should be given a large area during the current period of the financial of the parliamentary session because it's the stage for Iraq, for building Iraq, okay, and bringing in investors. But the problem is that the one that they have now, the current investment law, it restricts the local and foreign investors. So they need to remove that from the law, okay? So they want to unrestrict that, okay? They want local and foreign investors to be able to come in and buy things and invest in things and be able to have an exit strategy as well. And that's key because they're not going to come in without an exit strategy. Okay. So Labor announces setting up a fund to grant loans with a capital of 150 billion dinars. All right. So the Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs for setting up a fund to grant loans with the capital of 150 billion dinars while suggesting its efforts to support the private sector through implementation of various programs aimed at expanding the social development department as an important step to support its strategy in the elimination of unemployment and poverty. Good job. Okay, labor is very, very important because it develops jobs. It keeps people working. Okay, people can have money. Okay, coming in. So that's a good job. Ban Ki Moon, which is a powerful person in the UN, he urges Baghdad and Erbil agreement to be bound by the sharing of oil revenues. Okay, when this guy speaks, people listen. Okay, he's a Secretary General of the United Nations. Okay, he says that let's see. He says that the Iraqi federal government and the Kurdistan region to be bound by the agreement of the sharing of oil revenues, and that in the report presented on Wednesday to members of the UN Security Council, he stated that the organization is still far dash for the defeat in Iraq, and the gains made by the Iraqi security force remains fragile. Okay. He warns against what is called the setback suffered by the efforts of Iraq in the fight against terrorism in the wake of the takeover dash on the gray. Okay, Ki Moon called on the Iraqi government to expand the scope of financial and military support to local authorities and communities to enable them to take on the largest share of the responsibilities for the restoration of the land regulations. All right, so this is one of the reasons why a body came out to the Iraqi people and said, "You guys have to take up arms and defend yourselves." It's exactly what Ki Moon is saying here. And we have to go all out war against Daesh and ISIS to get rid of these people right now because we're running out of time. Point blank, Iraq is running out of time. Okay, it doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what people say. You can talk about every law in the book, but at the end of the day, Iraq is running out of time. Why? Because they're running out of money in their 2015 budget. That's point blank and simple. The wars are costing them a lot of money. Their deficit is probably over 50 trillion dinars by now, and they're running out of money. Okay, and I told you guys that I believe, and with the intel I've gotten, we believe that the Iraq runs out of money between August 15th and September 15th. Okay, and that's when we'll probably see a drastic move that Iraq has to make very soon. It could be before August 15th, it could be after September 15th, but they're going to have to make a move because they're going to run out of money in their 2015 budget. Doesn't mean Iraq is broke because they still have reserves, they still have their central bank, they still have gold and everything else, but that's supposed to be used to support a revaluation, okay? But soon they're going to be forced to either revalue or total collapse, okay? So that's what's coming, okay? So let's see what's going on Saturday, all right? Saturday for the parliamentary session, it's really not that much things, okay? They're going to first read the verse of the Quran like they always do. Second, they're going to host the minister of electricity. Yeah, they got to host them because they need to find out what in the world was going on during Maliki's time because they have wasted. I think that the electricity sector has cost them $300 billion or something like that. I did a report on it. It's on my channel if you want to check it out. But they have wasted so much money in this sector. It's unbelievable, and somebody needs to answer some hard questions. Okay, and it says third, the first reading of the draft general authority to monitor the allocation of federal revenue law. Okay, and the finance committee, the committee of the region, and the government that are not organized in the region. Okay, so the session starts at 11 in the morning on Saturday. I think this is Saturday's session, right? Because that's the first time they're back in action. Yep, Saturday session. Okay, so yeah, so the most important thing on there is well, there's two of them: the Ministry of Electricity to find out what the world is going on with that, but also the federal revenue law. Okay, the federal revenue law will be read for the first time, so that's an important law because it helps with the monetary policies in Iraq. Okay. So let's go up here and see if there's anything else. It's 16 minutes, so is there anything else to talk about? Um, let's see. UN envoy. It's time for the conclusion of the historic national reconciliation in Iraq. Okay, and it says also the U.S. Defense Secretary arrives in Erbil. So they're going to be talking about some things in Erbil. Let's see. Cabinet. We are working on an application of 2 lines to support the economy. So a lot of articles are talking about supporting the local economy and strengthening the local economy and the markets. Okay, so that's good news for us. That means they're in the desperate times. Okay, one of the articles of the week was the parliamentary finance supports the issuance of the new categories of cash to facilitate the process of carrying currencies. Okay, so we know that Magda Tammy came out and she back then she didn't support the dropping the 3 zeros or revaluing, but now she does. So she says the environment is right for it. So that was big news this week. Okay. Another news that came out that I haven't talked about was the mafias. Okay, the mafia work with politicians and judges to control the banks, millions of dollars in profits. See, they're going to expose these people and they're going to take them all down. So this is what's coming, yeah, guys. This is all over the internet. It's all over articles in Iraq. So Iraqi citizens know that politicians and judges have scammed people and have made millions and millions of dollars off of the Iraqi people and the government, okay, and stealing money. Okay, another article says 45 billion are missing from the public coffers from when Maliki was in charge. I mean, there's so much money missing with this man. Well, I have no clue how he's still walking in Iraq. No clue at all. And I know the Saudi prince came out. One of the Saudi prince came out and said, "This man, he can't believe this man is still walking the earth." You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's unbelievable the corruption he's done with. Okay. Deputy calls for providing al Maliki to international criminal due to the fall of Mosul. I mean, this man is they're coming after him now. Everybody's coming after him. General Mark from the U.S. Navy, or the U.S. Army, or what is this guy from? The chief of staff for the U.S. Army, okay? He says Maliki corruption and his aides behind the collapse of the Iraqi army. Boy, oh boy, everybody's coming after Maliki, man. We said this was going to happen. We got to see this. We got to see him neutered. We got to see him tamed to get this revaluation, okay? We got to see his people go down because they're definitely keeping this up. And it's good news, man. It's good news. It's good news. It's good news. It's what we respected. It's what we seen happen. Also, the Iraq is trying to do solidarity. Sunnis, Shiites, Kurds coming together. They want that. Okay, they want that for their country badly. Okay, and also urgent message was Maliki refuses to attend an emergency meeting after being summoned by the president of the Kurds. So Maliki's going down. Currency 365. I'm out, guys.